Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Disney Newsreel. So there's not much in the way of news this week that we wanted to go over because most of it was what?
Layoffs.
Layoffs.
Everywhere.
There's a lot of layoffs.
Everybody.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that Disney laid off like somewhere around 28,000 employees.
It's a lot.
Between Disney World, Disneyland, and some in the main company too, in different aspects of the company.
Yeah, and just that.
They laid off 28,000 people.
Yep.
So
huge layoffs.
That was most of the stories as we were scrolling through here. That was most of the stories that were coming up.
Yep.
It was just all about layoffs. So
there's nothing real.
So there's nothing, not a whole lot going on besides that. But before we get into that, make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, you go ahead and do that down below, and also leave us a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing. So I only picked 3 stories. The first one is a breaking news story from today that I just happened to come across when I opened this, which is California to issue theme park reopening guidelines this week.
That'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
Especially since they have nobody to work in Disneyland
now. Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, Disneyland Resort theme parks are ready to open once guidelines are issued. That's what they've kept saying.
We already knew that.
Yeah, because
they've been preparing for it. So.
Yeah, for quite a while. And so Disney, along with like SeaWorld and all of the other theme parks around there, had continuously gone to the government of California and they're like, hey, you should start looking at reopening. Like, here's our guidelines. We have really strict guidelines. Mm-hmm. You should try to reopen.
They're working elsewhere, like we.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, they've been working over in Florida. So, like, come on, let us do this, and overseas. And so, like, let us do this. And California kept saying no. So, but apparently now they are going to reconsider that. So, So yeah, the news comes on the heels of a mass layoff for domestic Disney parks, with the company citing, which we mentioned, with the company citing the state's unwillingness to lift restrictions that would allow Disneyland to reopen as a major factor in the layoffs.
I mean, but they laid off a whole bunch of people in Florida, and they've been open for a while. Mm-hmm. So I don't really think that that's the reason. I think the reason is that they've taken a big hit as a company, and they had to make some cuts somewhere. Yeah, because this whole time, they've been continuing to pay the healthcare for their employees. And so at that point, Disney was just hemorrhaging money. They weren't making any money off the parks. They were losing a lot of it on the parks because they were still paying the healthcare for all of those employees that were furloughed and are now laid off. So that's it for that one. That is kind of exciting that California is looking at possibly allowing reopening. But they're not going to have anybody to work in the park, so I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, we'll see. The second one is Josh D'Amaro seen apologizing to cast members after thousands are laid off at Disneyland Resort. I mean, can I be like really mean here? Sure. It's like killing somebody and then apologizing to their family. Like, it's not like, it doesn't, like, cool, you're sorry, but you did it, you know? I don't know. It's. And I think the thing with him too is though that he had just come into this position. Yeah. Like, he really had no choice. He may be the president of Disney Parks, but the decision to make those layoffs was ultimately came from over his head. I know. That was a Bob Chapek and like possibly Bob Iger and the board making that call, saying we need to lay off this many people. You just need to decide. They probably went to Josh D'Amaro and said, you just need to decide where they're coming from. That's probably exactly what happened. It's still, I don't know. So, 28,000 cast members, but Josh D'Amaro was in, where was it? Downtown Disney District in Disneyland. Speaking to cast members. Yeah, speaking to the cast members. So, he knows that what he had to do was really crappy, and he feels really bad about it. But there was really, there really was no other choice. Like I said, Disney was hemorrhaging money. And so, and they have
told the cast members that are being laid off. They have all been told once things start to get back to normal and we're able to like actually start bringing people back, then you can get a position again with us. But it's like, okay, you know, cool, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many things, like the CEOs getting their freaking salaries back in the midst of this.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I feel like Disney could have made better choices.
Yeah. I mean, it almost makes it feel like they were like, okay, here, we'll give you your salaries back, but in order to do that, you have to fire 28,000 people.
Yeah, and
that's what it makes it feel like. I mean, that's not necessarily what happened, but that's what it feels like.
It's not the choice necessarily that they had, but it's definitely what it feels like. I feel like there's other options they could have made, or other choices they could have made to at least lessen this blow, because that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
It's a whole heck of a lot of people, and that's terrifying.
Yeah. But there was a guy that had tweeted.
It looks like a cast member.
Yeah. And according to the guy that tweeted, DeMauro looked, quote, defeated, and was apologizing to cast members and letting them vent and cry to him. And from what I understand about Josh DeMauro, that's the type of person he is. Like, he feels for his cast members.
Yeah.
I think he used to be one years ago.
I don't know.
But,
meh.
But yeah, it sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And we will end with this one, which is The Lion King live action. They're calling it a sequel, but it's really not.
Everything else I've read on it is it's actually a prequel about Mufasa.
Yeah.
About his life growing up or something like that. So, I don't know, it's not really a sequel.
But it is in development at Disney, so let's see. They're going back with a sequel to the 2019 film. Yeah, and that's all it said. There's like no other information released about it, other than like there's who is that? Barry Jenkins, which is the director.
Is going to be the director.
And he's an Oscar-winning filmmaker, so we'll see.
I mean,
but he tweeted and said the Lion King sequel set with Moonlight director Barry Jenkins. And literally there's nothing else, like it just says Lion King sequel to be done.
I've heard much more from other sources.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just a very short.
Yeah. And then this little bit here came from Variety magazine. The movie will be a continuation of the studio's 2019 photorealistic remake rather than the 1994 cartoon.
Well, yeah, I think we already talked about that. It's a live action sequel, not a...
Yeah. They have... Oh, here we go. It's just hiding down here because it's like a single sentence. A release date has not been announced for the sequel, which is said to delve into Mufasa's backstory as well as the mythology of the characters.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I had heard from other sources that it's going to be a dive into Mufasa's story. So I wonder if that makes because Scar's technically his uncle. I wonder if it goes into that kind of stuff.
Uncle?
Huh?
Simba's uncle.
Oh yeah, he is Simba's uncle, so he's Mufasa's brother.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, my bad, yo.
Now you're back on track.
I wonder if it's gonna go into that whole dynamic, because
maybe
it's interesting because the Scar technically would have been the.
He technically should have been the headline, the alpha, the king.
The king, right? Because that's in actual lion.
Yeah, the type of lion that he was with the black mane and stuff. Those are the ones that are generally the pride leaders.
So.
And Mufasa would have been the bottom of the food chain in the pride.
So I wonder if maybe they'll actually address that since it's a live action. And
maybe.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean, look, in the animated one, look at it. Even in the live action one they made, look at how skinny Scar is. Mm-hmm. He's like skinny and almost emaciated in both versions.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering.
And maybe it's because he was weak and so he couldn't lead the pride.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering, if they'll dive into that and
maybe
how he got his scar, if that was something to do with it.
They went into that in Lion Guard.
Yes, I know, but
so if you're interested in the animated version of it, go watch The Lion Guard. Apparently, at some point in there, it goes into how Scar got his scar.
I hope that they kind of addresses those kind of things, because
It would be interesting.
I'm actually interested in that, and none of the animated sequels
ever delved into that.
Ever
no. It went straight to Simba's Pride, and then the 1.5 went to Timon and Pumbaa's story. So
right. So
and then the Lion Guard again is about Simba's Pride. So
there's some room there for I want to know things.
There is. So yeah, that sounds like it might be interesting. But that's really all we have this week. Like I said, it's a lot of layoffs, so it's a sad news week. But what are you gonna do?
It's almost as bad as nothing's opening.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, thank you all for joining us this week, and we hope that we will see you all again next week. But until then, don't forget
to thank the Phoenicians.